It was announced on Christmas Eve that the Seattle Mariners had signed catcher/DH Mitch Garver to a 2-year, $24 million contract, marking the largest free agent signing for a hitter in the Jerry Dipoto era.
Show me the money! Show me the money!
Dipoto took over in the fall of 2015, and up to this point, there was no free agent hitter that was signed to a multi-year contract, and no free agent was signed to a contract larger than $7 million, which was actually last year when AJ Pollock was signed to a 1-year, $7 million contract. So this Mitch Garver signing of a 2-year, $24 million contract is a big step technically for the Mariners front office. And this will also mark the first time since after the 2018 season when Nelson Cruz left Seattle, in which the Mariners will be having a full-time DH. Ever since Nelly left Seattle, the Mariners have essentially used that DH spot as an active rest day for their players to get their players some at-bats while getting them off their feet. At the same time, since the universal DH has come into play, the Mariners have been one of the most unproductive teams at the DH spot. And Mitch Garver, if they can keep him healthy, will be a fantastic addition at that DH spot. If you're enjoying the content so far, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as over 70% of the people watching my videos in the last 30 days are not yet subscribed. And if you're watching this, you're likely a sports fan. You got to check out the Glance LED panel, which you see behind me. Visit glance-led.com. Use code CouchGM for 15% off your order. We'll get into a mock Mariners lineup in just a bit, but assuming that Mitch Garver is the most impactful bat added this offseason, as of right now, he would be batting in the 3 hole behind JP Crawford and Julio Rodriguez. And if he's able to stay healthy, the Mariners keep him off of his feet. He only plays the DH position. I could see him hitting 30 home runs, 100 RBIs with a 260 batting average. That is totally doable. You might be asking, well, isn't Mitch Garver a catcher and isn't he going to be backing up Cal Raleigh? The answer to that is no. And if I'm the Mariners GM, I'm not letting Mitch Garver play catch with the catcher's glove, put on a catcher's mask, or do anything catcher related. All he's going to be doing is warming up in the cages, getting ready to hit at the DH spot. In that deal that sent Eugenio Suarez to the Diamondbacks, the Mariners acquired backup catcher Seby Zavala. The Mariners PR was flaunting his defensive metrics. Seby is going to be the backup catcher for Cal Raleigh, even if the Mariners take a step back offensively at the catcher position on those days, because Seby's bat isn't quite there. That's still much better than putting Mitch Garver at risk of injury by filling in for Cal at the catcher position. And why is that? Well, quite simply, it's Mitch Garver's injury history. If you look at his past few years, back in 2023, last year, he played in just 87 games total, 2022, 54 games, 2021, 68 games. Over those 3 seasons, he's averaging about 70 games played per season. Mitch Garver has an extensive injury history. Last year, he missed nearly 2 months with a sprained knee. The year before that, he had a torn flexor tendon in his right forearm that ended his season. He had to get surgery on that. In 2021, he dealt with groin and back injuries. Again, he only played in 68 games in 2021. And at the same time, Mitch Garver is now your 3rd highest player on the team. He is your highest paid hitter currently. He's making more money than JP Crawford and Julio Rodriguez. He's only behind Luis Castillo and Robbie Ray as far as payroll is concerned. However, when he is healthy, he is one of the better hitters in baseball. As you can see with his baseball savant numbers from 2023, his batting run value was 89 out of 100. His expected slugging was in the 87th percentile. His barrel rate, which is 12.6%, was in the 83rd percentile. His chase rate, just 17.4%, was in the 98th percentile. And his walk rate at 12.8% was in the 90th percentile in all of hitters last year. And as you can see from his spray chart in 2023, he is definitely more of a pull hitter. That's especially where his power is at. And he does have power that will play in really any ballpark.
That ball is hit in the air to deep left field. Hayes going back at the wall. It's gone.
And going back to his stat line, as I mentioned, in 2023, he played in just 87 games. During those games, he had 19 home runs and 50 RBIs. If he would have played in 162 games, that would be about a 35 home run pace at around 100 RBIs. And compared to Mariners hitters in 2023, Mitch Garver's 870 OPS would have been first on the team, ahead of JP Crawford and Julio Rodriguez, who tied at an 818 OPS. So Mitch Garver, an OPS of about 50 points above JP and Julio. And also, Mitch Garver had a 500 slug, which would also be first on the team from last year. Julio had a 485 slug. Next up was Cal Raleigh at a 456. And again, since we're there comparing the Mariners 2023, Mitch Garver's .370 on-base percentage would have been second on the team, only behind JP Crawford, who had a .380 on-base percentage. And mind you, JP Crawford led the American League in walks in 2023. Also, Mitch Garver's .870 OPS led all catchers with at least 300 plate appearances. His .500 slugging percentage trailed only Yanair Diaz. Now, if the season were to start today and the Mariners didn't make any other moves, this is what your lineup would look like. I do think that they'll go add an additional bat. We'll get into that in a second. You have JP Crawford leading off. He led the American League in walks. He led the team in on-base percentage. In the 2-hole, you have Julio Rodriguez, who's your superstar. You got Mitch Garver at the 3 spot. He's going to do a lot of damage with JP Crawford and Julio Rodriguez in front of him. Behind that, you have Cal Raleigh with a little more swing and miss, but he's got that pop. In the 5-hole, you have Ty France, who's at Driveline Baseball right now. You're really banking on a bounce back from Ty France next year. Batting 6, realistically, Dominic Canzone is going to be starting in right field every day, unless they go acquire a big outfielder. The bottom third of the Mariners lineup is by far the biggest question mark, as you really don't have anyone that's slotted to play left field right now. So that's kind of filled in with Zach DeLoach, a free agent, or a trade that might happen. Beyond that, you have Luis Arias, who's currently slotted to be your opening day third baseman. We'll see if they fill that gap, because again, with Luis Arias, kind of the same with Mitch Garver, Luis Arias has a serious injury history. And if Arias gets hurt, who's next up at third base? Likely all you have is Dylan Moore or Sam Haggerty. Then batting 9th, you have Josh Rojas. So all that being said, Mitch Garver was a big addition to the Mariners lineup. They signed him to a 2-year contract that still gives the Mariners flexibility, which they really like, the long-term flexibility. They can go out and sign additional free agents. We'll see exactly where their payroll is going to end up. They've said that they're going to be above the mark that they were last year. Again, that came out before the whole Root Sports deal really blew up in their face, or at least before that information became public. The Mariners had subtracted quite a bit of production with Teoscar Hernandez hitting free agency, as well as those trades with Eugenio Suarez and Jared Kelenic. This signing in Mitch Garver is a promising first step. It cannot be their last step. They realistically need 1 or 2 more bats to fill out this lineup. Definitely an outfielder. We'll see if they take care of that third base spot on top of already having Luis Arias. But this now gives you a solid top half of the lineup, assuming that Ty France bounces back with JP Crawford, Julio Rodriguez, Mitch Garver, Cal Raleigh, and then Ty France, your 1 through 5. So we'll see what the Mariners front office has up their sleeves the rest of this offseason. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and comment below your thoughts on the addition of Mitch Garver to the Mariners lineup, and who do you think the Mariners should go trade or sign for. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
That is a rocket for Garver to left field, and Mitch Garver. 2-1 pitch hit well to left field. Schwarber back at the track. This one's gone again.
For the Yankees back in 2019.
This second pitch of the game is deposited into the...
In Mitch Garver's case, yeah, I can see the Tampa 5.
Well, this is going to help things. He sends it to the alley in right field. He hammers that ball out to left field. Donovan racing, and that one is over his head. And again, if Garver can add to the damage. That one ripped down the line, and that's a fair ball. He may not come in. That one pitch. And this one ripped into left field. That drops in, base hit. Today. And he hammers the ball out to center field. That takes Durant back to the wall. It is Garver.